Hello and welcome back to week 5 of the Temple Read Aloud project, where we are teaching early math by providing language exploration using storybooks and related activities. This week we are reading Mouse Count by Ellen Stoll Walsh. And I am Suzanne Forsyth with the University of Texas. So this book, Mouse Count, uses a lot of the sequencing language that your child worked on last week. And it targets the pre-K guidelines of adding to and taking away skills, where the child uses concrete objects, creates pictorial models, and shares a verbal word problem for adding up to 5 objects. And the child uses concrete models or makes a verbal word problem for subtracting 0 to 5 objects from a set. The target vocabulary for this week is easier to teach if you have some kind of empty container. The words are empty, full, enough, and into. So to teach empty, you can show your child this container is empty. Full means to the top. Enough is just the right amount. And into is go inside. Challenge terms for this week kind of go along with the sequencing vocabulary from last week. While means at the same time, then is after that. And this book uses long in reference to time, so it's not how long it is, but a long time is many, many minutes. And it also uses over in different ways than it was used in the other book that we studied over in. Previously, we learned over as kind of above. Here, this book has over there and turn over. So you'll want to probably explain those to your child if your child needs a challenge in vocabulary. Reading suggestions for this week are, as usual, for the first day, simply read the book and respond to your child's comments about the story. On the second and third days, you will want to stop at the target vocabulary and ask your child to give you a meaning or hand gesture for the words. This book has some counting in it as the snake collects mice, so you'll want to ask the child to count with you. Also, the snake captures mice in groups, so as you're reading, you can ask the child how many mice are already in the jar and to predict what number comes next. You can also ask, is the jar full now, every time the snake adds more mice. Your activity suggestions for this week. The first one is just one more. So on this activity, you're going to do some physical movements with your child, and you're going to start with a quantity and add one more. For instance, you might clap 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Then ask your child, how many times would I clap if I clapped 1 more? Your child hopefully will tell you 4, and then you can clap 4. Or you can say, let's snap 2 times, and the child snaps 2 times. And you ask the child, how many times would I snap if I snapped 1 more time? And hopefully your child would say 3, and you would snap 3 times. If your child needs help, you're welcome to help with that task. To extend the activity, if your child grasps that really quickly, you could say, how many is just 2 more? Or how many is 3 more? Your second activity suggestion for this week are, how many are enough? So for this, you will need a large empty container, like that measuring cup that you had, and a smaller scoop of some kind. You will want to have water or something else that can be scooped, like popcorn or rice or dried beans. You're going to have your child scoop the water or whatever into this empty container with a scoop to determine how many scoops are enough to fill the container. Or if you're using a large container, you might say, fill it to here, and that's enough. The idea is for the counting and also to get an idea of capacity. That will allow you to also touch this Texas Pre-K guideline that the child recognizes how much can be placed within an object. You can extend this activity by using even smaller scoops so that more scoops are needed to fill the container. The last activity suggestion for this week is called Capture the Mice. And for this, you will need a cup, a jar, or a bowl, and some small objects that fit inside, as well as a pencil and some paper. And I'm going to show you over here how to play this game. You're going to want to write out some simple number sentences, such as 1 plus 2 is the same as what? And the idea is for the child to capture mice, which are my small objects here, and put them into the bowl, representing the jar that the snake had. So here, the child would count 1, and we're going to add 2 more. So he would have 2 more mice, and it's the same as what? Well, the child would then count how many mice are in his jar. 1, 2, 3. So 1 plus 2 is the same as 3. You will want to give him or her several different addition sentences, simple ones, and let him or her practice counting out how many mice, putting them into the jar, and counting how many there are, always turning it over to let the mice escape. To extend this activity, you can even start with mice already in the jar and take away mice to determine how many are left. That is all for this week. This is week 5. We look forward to working with you again next week.